So today we're working on a 2009 Toyota Yaris with a complaint of the airbag light being on the dash. It has a current active fault code in it for B1653 seat position sensor assembly fault. Now we're looking at the troubleshooting chart, and it's quite complicated when it doesn't really need to be. So we're going to have a look at where this sensor is and another way to test it maybe. So here is the troubleshooting chart from the manufacturer for that B1653 airbag seat position sensor circuit malfunction. I'm not going to suggest you shouldn't follow manufacturer's procedures, because obviously they are written in order to prevent personal injury, but sometimes I think they're a little overkill. We're working on the driver's seat. This particular vehicle does not have any airbags in the driver's seat. It simply has a seat track sensor and a seat buckle. There is no deployment loops in the seat. So this procedure here suggests to turn the key off and disconnect every deployment loop in the vehicle. Wow, that's pretty time consuming, and in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think it's unnecessary. You are not working on a part of the system that is going to cause deployment. You're not working on a crash sensor, and you're not working on a deployment loop. You're working on a seat track sensor, which senses the position of the front seat, either it's forward or it's back, or you're working on the seat buckle, which is either buckled or not. Nevertheless, it says clear the DTCs. If it comes back, then it says continue to the next step. Check the connections of the connectors. Now, this particular diagram here shows the seat position sensor and the airbag assembly sensor. Now, if you're going to disconnect this, yes, I think it's wise that you disable the system. What we decided to do was go to the 4-wire connector under the seat and look at the signal voltages that are present there on the left seat position plus and left seat position minus, and compare that to the seat buckle circuit, which is exactly the same type of circuit. So we'll have a look at that and see how that fares. So there is the sensor right over here. Oops, sorry for the jiggles. And we're at the actual 2 wires going to the sensor. The yellow-red is the seat position positive, and the yellow wire is the seat position negative. Now, it doesn't really say in the service literature what kind of a sensor it is, but I suspect it's a Hall effect that reports a voltage to the actual airbag module. So we're going to have a look at what happens on that circuit when we turn the key on. And it's still got the original sensor, and I suspect it has a failed sensor. So we're back pinning those 2 wires, which is the seat position sensor, and we're going to turn the key to the run position and see what happens on that circuit. Go ahead. Now you can see there's some voltage pulses, and then they disappear. Now turn the key off again, and you can see the voltage climbs to about 0.7, and then it slowly drops back down to 0 basically after about 6-7 seconds. Now the seat buckle switch appears to be the same design, so we're going to compare that one, which is the 2 wires above it in this connector here. So we're back pinning the seat buckle switch now, which is not a simple switch as far as I can tell. I tested continuity through it with an ohmmeter, and in both directions it showed infinite, yet it actually produces a different signal. So let's have a look at it on the graphing multimeter now. Go ahead and turn the key on. That wasn't very good. We got nothing. Okay, we weren't in all the way. Now it's gone away, just like the other one did. Maybe we lost the connection. Can you buckle the seatbelt in? Let's see what happens when we buckle the seatbelt in. Unbuckle it again. Nothing changed. So what we noticed about the seatbelt buckle switch is that if you monitor the voltage on that circuit, you'll see it slowly start to escalate, and it's
averaging at about 0.5, and then it goes off again, and it does that rhythmically over about 10 seconds. Now if you look at the amplitude when it comes back up again in a second, you'll see it's different when the buckle is attached. There it's starting again. So it's at about 12 volts. Let's buckle the buckle in now and see what it changes to. Here it comes again. Significantly lower voltage though. So that's definitely not a simple switch. A switch cannot do that. It's either on or off. And I suspect we should get the same kind of a pattern from that seat position sensor. So we're going to change that position sensor out and see if that fixes the problem. So there's the part number of the new seat position sensor. What I noticed right off the bat as soon as I took it out of the package is that there's a strong magnet on it, which would also concur that it's a Hall effect sensor of some kind. So here's the seat out of the vehicle, and here's what we found. Hindsight, we should have looked at this a little closer before we ordered up the new part. So there's a broken wire going into this sensor. These wires realistically don't move that much when the seat moves, because this moves with the seat. I could see the wires flexing over here, and that's where I expected to find a broken wire, but obviously it's here. So we're going to try and repair this terminal. So we've got the wire repaired going into that connector. Technically it should have a new pigtail if it's available. That connector may be part of the seat belt buckle assembly, but I'm not sure. So we've got it connected, the seat sitting back in, not bolted down, and go ahead and turn the key on. We'll see what the signal looks like now. And I noticed it appears to work exactly like the seat belt buckle did. You'll see a gradual voltage change, and then here comes the signal. Which is just like the seatbelt buckle did. So it's some kind of a Hall effect. There's definitely a magnet in the thing, and it senses notches in the seat track. So there it goes back off, and it cycles through that in about what appears to be 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Here it goes again. So all that's left to do now is bolt the seat back down and clear the fault codes, and hopefully it's going to be good to go. So we're going to go into the airbag system now and see if there's any codes in it. It should have a history code, but it shouldn't have any current codes. Well, that's a good thing. So it's automatically cleared the current codes, but it should have history codes for the seat belt position sensor assembly fault. So we're going to clear that code. And then we're going to look at data and see if we can see this position of the seat track. I think it has 3 positions, all the way back, in the middle, and all the way forward. And like I said, that appears to be a 2-wire digital sensor. Driver's seat position says it's backward. Can you move the seat forward now? Now it says forward. Imagine that. Can you put it in the middle? And it says backward. So maybe it only has 2 positions, back and forward. Well, actually on the scan tool it has invalid, forward, backward, and fail. So we're good. We're good now.